Do you know why you can't tickle yourself? Go ahead, try it. Run your fingers along your own ribs, under your arm, across the sole of your foot. Nothing happens. You feel the touch, but the squirm never comes, the laugh never escapes, and some part of you already knew it wouldn't. That feels like a small, silly fact about your body, a party trick that refuses to work. But the real answer is far stranger than a glitch in your skin. Because the reason you can't tickle yourself has almost nothing to do with your fingers. It has to do with a quiet machine inside your skull that is right now predicting your own future. Every move you make, your brain has already guessed a fraction of a second before you make it. And when the world matches the guess, your brain does something remarkable. It erases the feeling before it ever reaches you. You are not failing to tickle yourself. You are being protected from yourself. So why would a brain ever evolve to do that? To understand, you have to start with a problem your brain solves so smoothly that you have never once noticed it existed. Your body is drowning in sensation. The shirt on your shoulders, the chair under you, the slow drift of your own tongue resting against your teeth. If your brain treated every one of those touches as breaking news, you would be overwhelmed in seconds. You would never hear a footstep behind you because you'd be too busy feeling your own socks. So your brain made a rule. Ignore the expected. Notice the surprise. The trouble is, most touch comes from you. Your hand brushing your leg, your fingers scratching your cheek. To filter out your own touch, your brain has to know, in advance, exactly what you are about to do. And here's the strange part. It does. Every time you send a command to your muscles, your brain quietly keeps a copy of that command for itself. Scientists call this an efference copy. Think of it as a private memo your brain writes to itself the instant before you move. The memo says, in effect, the hand is about to do this, so expect this feeling. A region at the back of your skull called the cerebellum reads that memo and builds a prediction of what your skin is about to report. When the real touch arrives and matches the prediction, the cerebellum cancels it out. The sensation gets turned down so low you barely register it. This whole system has a name. Researchers call it a forward model. Your brain is a forecasting engine, and your own body is the weather it predicts most accurately of all. In 1998, a neuroscientist named Sarah Jane Blakemore, working in London, decided to watch this happen inside the living brain. She'd put people inside a scanner and had them experience two kinds of touch on the palm of the hand. In one case, an experimenter did the touching. In the other, the person did the exact same thing to themselves. The physical sensation was identical. The brain's response was not. When the touch came from outside, a part of the brain that processes sensation lit up brightly. When the person touched their own hand, that same region went quiet. The brain had seen it coming and dimmed the lights. Blakemore's work showed something that sounds almost impossible. Your own touch and a stranger's touch are the same on your skin, but they are different in your mind. One is a surprise, the other was old news before it even happened. So this is the secret. A tickle is not really about being touched. A tickle is about being surprised. And you, the one creature in the universe who can never surprise you, are the one person who can never tickle you. Can you see how strange that is? But if it were only about prediction, there should be a loophole. What if you built a machine to tickle you, so the timing wasn't yours? What if a robot did it? In the late 1990s, a psychologist at the University of California, San Diego, named Christine Harris, went looking for that loophole. She and her colleagues built an actual tickling machine and told people a machine, not a human, would be doing the tickling, to see whether the response depended on another person being there. People still laughed, still squirmed. The body reacted to the unexpected touch, whether or not it believed a mind was behind it. The tickle response, it turned out, sits much deeper than politeness or social play. It is closer to a reflex, an ancient one. And once you see it as a reflex, a much older question opens up. Why do you have it at all? Why is your body built to convulse and laugh when someone digs their fingers into your ribs? Look at where you are most ticklish. The ribs, guarding your lungs and heart. The throat, where your life runs in a thin line just under the skin. The armpits, the soft belly, the back of the knee, the sole of the foot. Now notice something. These are not random spots. They are the exact places a doctor checks for danger. They are the places with no bone armor, the places a predator would aim for, the places you instinctively curl up to hide when you are afraid. Your most ticklish zones are your most vulnerable zones. That is not a coincidence. Many scientists believe the tickle reflex began as a guardian, a hypersensitive alarm wired to the body's softest points. When something light and unpredictable creeps across your skin, an insect, a spider, a blade of grass near your throat, your body yanks the area away before your conscious mind has even formed a thought. The flinch, the squirm, the sudden twist away. That is older than language. That is your body refusing to let anything unknown linger on the parts that could kill you. This light, creeping kind of tickle even has its own name. Back in 1897, two psychologists named G. Stanley Hall and Arthur Allen split tickling into two types. The faint, shivery goosebump kind that a feather gives you, they called kinesmesis, and the deep, helpless, laughing kind that only comes from real pressure on those vulnerable spots, they called gargalesis. The first is a tripwire for danger. The second is something else entirely, something social. Because here's the twist. The same body part that screams danger when a bug touches it will collapse into laughter when a person you trust touches it. The reflex that protects you also bonds you. How can one feeling be both? The answer is that the helpless laughing tickle almost never happens alone. You cannot do it to yourself. A stranger doing it feels like an attack. It only turns into joy when it comes from someone safe. A parent, a sibling, a partner. The laughter of being tickled is, in a strange way, a report your brain files about your relationships. It says, this person is close enough to reach my softest places, and I have decided they are not a threat. This is why tickling lives almost entirely between parents and small children, and between people who love each other. It is a rehearsal for trust. A game of mock danger played in a place that is truly safe. Your body practices being vulnerable with someone who has chosen not to hurt you. And you are not the only animal that plays this game. Around the turn of the millennium, a neuroscientist named Jaak Panksepp spent years studying the inner lives of animals, and he made a discovery that startled the scientific world. When you tickle a young rat, it chirps. Not in a sound you can easily hear, but at around 50,000 hertz, far above what your ears can catch. The rats chased his hand, asking for more. The faster he tickled, the more they chirped. Panksepp argued that what he was hearing was, in its most basic form, laughter. Joy that predates humans by tens of millions of years. Think about what that means. The giggle a child makes when a parent tickles them is not a human invention. It is an inheritance, a signal passed down through countless ancestors, far older than words, that says the same thing across species and across time. I feel safe. We are playing. We are not enemies. So now, go back to that quiet moment from the beginning, your fingers crawling along your own ribs, finding nothing. You understand now what is really happening. You are trying to surprise the one mind that can never be surprised by you. You are trying to play a game of trust that requires a second player. You are reaching for the soft, defended places of your body, and your brain is calmly saying, it's only you. There is no danger here. There is nothing to report. Charles Darwin noticed this long before anyone could look inside a brain. In his 1872 book on the emotions, he wrote that for tickling to work, the touch must be unexpected, and the precise spot must not be known in advance. He understood, more than a century early, that the secret ingredient was not the finger. It was the not knowing. You cannot not know your own intentions. You are the source of them. And maybe that is the quietest truth hidden in all of this. So much of what you feel most strongly, fear, delight, surprise, that electric flinch of being alive, depends on something outside you, on not being able to predict the next moment, on another hand, another mind, another presence you did not author. Your brain spends its whole life trying to forecast the world so it can stay calm, and yet the moments that make you gasp, that make you laugh until you cannot breathe, are precisely the ones it failed to see coming. You are a prediction machine that secretly longs to be wrong. So, the next time someone you trust reaches toward your ribs, and you twist away laughing before they even touch you, remember what that laughter actually is. It is not weakness. It is your body announcing, in a language older than speech, that you have let your guard down on purpose, for someone you chose. So, do you know why you can't tickle yourself? it was never about your fingers, or your skin, or some nerve you're missing. It is because the one mind you can never surprise is your own. And that empty, quiet feeling under your fingertips is not a flaw in you. It is a door, left open, waiting for someone else to walk through.